そないすねた声出さんでもええやん。ほなまたな上流。一人で受付済ますんやで。
Okay, there we go. It's back, don't worry.
Yo, 無事につけましたな、桐生さん。いや、上流でしたっ
け。お前は獅子道。そう呼ばれていたな。今日は顔隠さなくていいのか。
ええ。ここでは近江連合の力が法です。心配ご無用です。
Rumbo? Bro, I'm gonna kill this motherfucker so goddamn hard.
最初は俺が世話しとったんですがね。チータ可愛がってたら殺す気か言うて取り上げられてもうた。難しいもんですな。生き物飼うっちゅうのは。
てめ
え。仲間死なせたくないんやったら闘技場へ起こしよう。あそこへ来て出られたら花輪の居場所をお教えします。がっかりさせんでくださいよ。鶴野の頭も期待してますんで。
花輪は返してもらう。その後お前らにもたっぷり礼をしてやる。
あの人は鬼人会の会長、三代目西谷誉です。このキャッスルを仕切る近江連合の大幹部。若くして金とカリスマと大した殺しの腕をお持ちです。
So he's smashed a lot of puss.
まさに関西極道の鏡や。
Ew.
俺にはどうでもいい話だ。いつまでもお前らのお遊びに付き合うつもりはね。
そうですか。ほな俺はもう行きますわ。
My man's face looks like he was about to grape somebody.
なんや上流、お友達でもおったんかいな。
そう見えたんならお前の鈍さも大したもんだ。
冗談やって。それより闘技場の受付済ませた？
まだこれからだ。
ほんま上流はうちがおらんとなんもできんな。ほなうちに任せとき。こっちや。
Man, how long are the fucking ads right now? Like, is that like 4 minutes of ads? What the fuck?
毎度グラディエーターのお届けです。
お待ちしてました、赤目様。出場の資格はお持ちで？おめでとうございます。大きなチャンスを手にされましたね。登録は何というお名前にしましょ
う？上流や。
かしこまりました。
It's back. Alright. You missed it. This dude made a grape face. It was really scary. But the,
そうか。そいつはまずいな。
なんで？顔を見られたくないっちゅうこと？
ああ。
Yeah, right after this cutscene, we'll talk about divorce in the United States a little bit.
上流様、よろしいでしょうか？
ん？
先ほど渡瀬組の獅子道様からこちらをお渡しするようにと。
なんやこれ、プレゼントかいな。
そのように受けたまっております。
あの野郎。
完全におちょくられてんな、上流。
他にいくらでもあんだ。
Some random stream, I see.
なんでこれなんだ。
まあ、
I guess you still can't lump flex.
戦うのもシュールでおもろいけど。
そうか。
他に準備がお済みでしたら いつでもお声掛けください。
Here, you killing me. I don't watch other people. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought you had said. Lumpy free. Well, that Lumpy is free. Is other Lumpy free too? Huh. Okay. Don Lumpione is free too. I must have done that just because I wanted to see everybody posting Don Lumpione and Lump Flex. I love Lump Flex so much. But yeah, let me tell you a little bit about divorce in the United States. I don't know how it works down there where you live, but here in the United States, in almost everywhere, if at any given moment, any given time, any given second, your wife wants to leave you, she just can right away. Immediately go to a lawyer and get a divorce. Immediately. Of course, there's a court trial after, and things will be split up and everything. But on a whim, she can just divorce you. Period. Straight up. The thing is, when she divorces you, and as a man in the United States, you're going to lose mostly everything. Like, she will literally take your dog from you. So yeah, it's pretty bad. And we have this thing that's called alimony payments here in the United States that women can be granted when they get a divorce from their husbands. And what an alimony payment is essentially, you're my wife and you chose to divorce me. So now I just have to pay you straight up every once a month. I have to pay you X amount of dollars. And it's based as a percentage of how much you make every year. So like you could lose like 10% of how much money you make in a year. You have to just give it to your ex-wife. Why? Okay, so why? Back in the day, they didn't want it to be the case because back in the day, women didn't really work. They weren't educated like men were. They weren't like taught skills and how to get a job and things like that until like the 1980s. And so, well, 1970s, 1980s. So what typically would happen is that the husband would be the major breadwinner of the household. So men would just divorce a woman and she'd just be homeless now if she didn't have family that could support her. So they invented alimony payments so that women couldn't just get thrown on the street side, pretty much. So it totally made sense back then, but the problem is now women make the same amount of money as men do, if not more, in most cases. There's actually a huge problem in the United States right now where women are making the same amount of money as men, but they're still expecting men to pay for everything. And they're upset that men make the same amount of money as them. Like, for example, there's a lot of women running around making, like, let's just throw a number out there, making, like, $50,000 a year. And so they say, oh, well, I'm making $50,000 a year. I need a man who makes $100,000 a year. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, let's do a quick little experiment here, guys. Because I'm very confident in my facts on this one. Where is it? I don't know why it didn't pop up when I clicked on it. %17 of all American men make over $100,000 per year. %17. But that's all men. That includes the 50-plus-year-old men. So let's see. Exactly what I had anticipated. Yeah, let's see. Man, it's not broken down by gender, just by age. So that's fine for our purposes. It'll be just as ridiculous. Oh, man. Bing bong beep. Word. There we go. I had to perform some maintenance there. All right. So I'm going to read this off to you. And this is men and women, not just men. So at the age of 20, 1% of Americans make $100,000 or more per year. At age 25, 2% of Americans make $100,000 or more. At age 30, 7% of Americans make $100,000 or more. And at 35, 12% make $100,000 or more. At age 40, 15%. So do you see the problem here? Women are getting these entry-level positions making $50,000 a year at like their early 20s, mid-20s, so 2025, but they're looking for men who are in the $100,000 range. But at the ages of 20, 25, 30, you're looking at most at 7% of the entire population, not even just men. So split that in half, and we're looking at 3.5% for men at the absolute high end at age 30. So essentially what young women are saying is, we're not dating anybody until they're 40 years old. And the even bigger problem here is that 40-year-old men don't want to have kids anymore. They're over that. They're done with that. So what that means is that nobody has fucking kids anymore because the women aren't interested in the men that are younger who want to have kids. They're only interested in these older men who have a bunch of money, but they don't want kids anymore. So nobody's having kids, which is a really big problem for obvious reasons. If you honestly can't see why a declining birth rate is a serious problem, I really highly recommend taking an economics course at some university. Because this is an issue. A big issue. Is there one that's broken down by gender? Oh, but yeah, here, look. The median salary in the US is $44,225. The median. And 54.9% of men, Americans, period, make 50,000 or less. So, and then on top of that, the real problem is that
and listen.
who's raiding me? Who's doing it? Hey, Summer, how's it going? That's really low compared to the cost of stuff up here. Up there. Yes, it is. Well, that's the thing, bro. Some ain't nobody, unless you live out in the countryside. Nobody, like near cities, like where I live, near Philadelphia. It might take me a while to be able to buy a house that's worth owning. And I make well over the median earnings for an American. Well over. Like, I'm 25% higher than the median American. So I'm like supposedly doing really well, but the problem is I had to take out so much student debt in order to get to the point where I'm even making this much money at my current age, that it's almost not even worth having at a certain point. And let's say, I'm curious if it breaks it down into gender. Oh yeah, in gender. Okay. Let's see. 17% of all men earn over $100,000 per year, compared to 8.4% of women. That makes sense to me. But if we take that and we look at, so 17% of the men. So if we take that and compare it to our sheet over here, it's not actually half. It's probably more like, for this 7%er right here, it's probably closer to like 5.5 or 6% if you actually work the numbers out. Obviously, I'm not speaking straight facts here. I'm guesstimating based off of the information that we have. But I feel like it's a pretty fair and generous estimate that I'm making here. And so what the real problem is that the thing is, if you're a 20-year-old woman who's making $60,000 a year on your own, and you're like a 10, and you have the kindness, you want to be a mom, you're interested in dating a man, you're not ugly. If you have all of these qualities, then yeah, go ahead and shoot for a guy who's making $120,000, like twice as much as you. Totally fine, totally acceptable. The real problem is that many people have deluded themselves into thinking that they are more valuable or more beautiful or more important than they actually are. So the problem is, once you feel like you are way more attractive as a partner than you actually are, your standards shoot up real high like this, and then you're not dating anybody because there's nobody who agrees that you're that valuable, so nobody's going to purchase you. Does that make sense? Like, people really hate when I do this, but I talk about dating as though it's economics. Supply and demand applies in dating as well. How marketable of a product you are applies in dating. How marketable of a product they are applies in dating. People really hate it when I talk about things like this. And I recently, especially, I have found a lot of young men have this issue in their heads that they're valuable for some reason. Like, they have some intrinsic value. Women do this too, but in particular, young men I've noticed really point this out a lot about young women. Like, they will literally ask, what do you bring to the table? But the thing is, they're not thinking about themselves at that higher level. Like they're realizing it about other people, that the other people have less value than that person thinks they do, but they're not realizing that they themselves do not actually have very much value. That's the problem here. So let's hammer men a little bit here as well. It's not just all a woman problem. I think it's an everyone problem, the dating economy that we currently have in the United States. And one of the major issues that I think is that women want men who are really, really super hyper successful. They want that 2% man at age 25 who's making over $100,000 a year. There's a very little chance that they're ever even going to meet that person. But on top of that, there's an even tinier chance that they are going to want to be with you specifically. So the problem arises through dating economics terms that there's no demand at all for what 90% of men are selling. No demand. There's a huge supply, but there is no demand for what these men want. And I've noticed that a lot of young men approach this more as an emotional thing instead of a business transaction type thing, where they're like, oh my God, I should be this, I should feel this way, I should feel this way. Women aren't interested in me. I'm sad. But the thing is, you get over that hurdle very quickly when you start thinking about things in terms of selling yourself. You are a product to be sold. Sorry, I am too. It's just how the world thinks and operates and works. If I am a better product, more women will find me attractive. And for young women, if you are a better product, more men will find you attractive. It's just how it works. And that's totally fine. If you manage to the perfect thing is when demand meets supply. Beautiful thing right there, because then in the dating economy, the 7 woman is dating the 7 man. Perfect. That is a flawless dating economy. I would even take it if the 7 woman was dating a 6 through 8 man. That's fine. But the problem is that the men are just like, we'll take anything we can get. We don't care, because there's such a huge supply of these lonely men. But on the other side of the spectrum, you have these women who are saying, I will only date a 10. And the problem is only 1 to 2% of men are 10s. Hence the nature of the 10, and you're a 7. It doesn't work. Like, let me put it to you this way. Fellas, you have $2 million, okay? And you have an income of $400,000 a year. You just have $2 million ready to scratch. Your 401k is all set up. You can't buy investments with it. I want you to go through a house buying scenario with me, okay? Keep in mind, you're a young age. You're trying to attract a woman. Are you going to buy a $150,000 2-bedroom house, a flat, or are you going to buy a like 6,000 square foot 4-bedroom mini mansion that you can really show off to a prospective partner? And I already know what some people are thinking when I say stuff like this. Some people are already going to be thinking, but Tom, I don't want her to see me as a paycheck. I don't want her to see me as money. That's okay and all, but that comes later. Like, there is an innate start to attraction that has to occur. Like, you're not going to get a woman interested in you by being fat, ugly, stupid, and poor. It don't work. It doesn't work. I would say you have to have at least 2 of these 4 things in order to really attract a woman. But do you know, interestingly enough, I think you have to have one of these 4 things, but you also have to have something else on the other side of the spectrum as well. You have to show off competence. You have to be able to show her that you can do something well. Does that make sense? Because women aren't interested in men that are broke, Men that are ugly, men that are fat, men that are weak, men that feel bad about themselves all the time. Why would you be? Why would anybody be interested in you if that's what you are? I wouldn't be interested in you if that's what you were. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. I wouldn't be interested in me if that's who I was. I am not. Shut your mouth, Brobus. But the thing that I'm trying to hammer home here is you have these young men who are saying, "Oh, but I don't want to be a wallet. She's interested in my money only. Oh my God, she just wants my money." Yeah, that's what she's supposed to fucking want. What do you mean? Women are biologically pre-programmed and wired to want the resources that you can offer to them. In caveman days, it was meat and berries and tools and shelter. Now, it is a house, a stable job, and money. And maybe kids, if they're interested in that. Why is that such a leap of understanding? And honestly, why does that even suck? I think that the reason that most men get stuck at this part of the dating economy is because they get hung up on it being all feely and touchy, and just, you need to think about it like a transaction. It's a transaction. You are in a relationship with somebody. You are exchanging things with them. That's what it is. That's all it is. It's all it ever was. The love part comes later. You have to impress the person before they're interested in you, not after. No one's going to be interested in somebody that's not impressive in some way. Some way. It could even be something tiny, like maybe you just drive your car in a way that she likes. Who knows? I don't give a fuck. You got to have something. And I don't know. I feel like young dudes are they're slacking, homie. I'm not gonna lie. They are big slacking. And I honestly, I think something that's super underrated that men can do is just fucking learn shit. Real simple. That's it. Just learn stuff. Know a couple of things real well. Just a few things. Things that you can throw out in a conversation that will impress somebody without making them feel like you're better than them or whatever, because people get nervous about that kind of shit. But like, have a few fun facts, you know? Like, that's an easy one for me, at least. It's been something that I've used many times in my life. And I don't know. I feel like, listen up. I think men don't fucking try hard enough. I wish I could live in the US at a young age to experience that type of living when it comes to dating also. Brosum, until you are 35 years old, this is what your dating experience will be like in the US. This isn't a young person thing. As a man, this is what you will experience pretty much your entire life in the US when it comes to dating. That's just how it is. This is the dating economy we're talking about here. Your age doesn't really affect the dating economy in the subject that we're talking about. And as a matter of fact, if you actually look at the way that the dating economics are working right now, men become more valuable as they get older. 35. I said 35, not 30. But before 18 as well. I would say from 15 to 35. I'm generally describing what your experience will be in the dating market as a man in the United States. I mean, I went on my first date when I was like 12 years old, Brosum. And I mean, the thing is, I'm not trying to say if it's good, bad, or worse. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that this is a bad thing. As a matter of fact, I think that this is just a natural course of events. It makes sense. Women want resources. Man get resources, give to woman, make baby. Very simple, very easy. I didn't even think of females like that. Nah, bro. My whole life has been searching for the woman for me. It's what I'm highly interested in. And I think I'm pretty much there, so go me. But I mean, hey, this is just the advice of a random dude who's in a very committed and long-term relationship and has a psychology degree. So, take my advice, don't take my advice, I don't care, but it will help your mental health to understand how the dating economics works. Like, I've seen a lot of young men complain about how unfair it is that women want your money. They're supposed to. Just like how, as a young man, you're supposed to want to have a job and provide resources to a woman so that she can produce children for you. You're supposed to do that as a man. That is your job. Stop complaining, you little crybabies. Like, the thing that bothers me isn't the complaining, because if you're complaining to your woman behind closed doors, oh, like, oh, my job sucks, baby. Oh, that's fucking terrible. Okay, totally fine. I have a problem with the dudes who are running around and bitching and crying in public about it. It's just like, dude, shut the fuck up. I've had enough of you. Get out of here. That's my feeling on it. Like, bitching is one thing, but publicly bitching and turning it into a social movement is a completely different thing. You don't have to be a dickhead to be a man. Something that I have, it drives me absolutely fucking insane. And I don't get how young men can think this. They think that in order to be masculine, you need to be a dickhead, turbo, testosterone, thick-jawed Chad. But in all actuality, the most masculine thing you can possibly do is take care of your body, take care of your partner, take care of your family, and work. If you do those 4 things, legendary masculinity. Legendary. And if you aren't getting the attention that you think you should be getting based off of what you're already doing and feeling, you're wrong and you aren't actually doing those things that you think you're doing. Because if you were doing those things that you think you're doing, you would have better results. Like, I've had men come to me before and say, oh, but I'm super masculine. I have a good job. I have this. I work out a lot. And I'm super masculine. Where's my woman? I haven't been with a woman in like 5-6 years. And my immediate response is, well, you must not actually be as masculine as you think you are, because where's your woman? If you were actually masculine, this wouldn't even be a conversation. Well, I mean, when it comes up in conversation, bro, so obviously people aren't just walking up to me and saying shit like that. That'd be fucking weird. But no, like, in conversations where I'm being asked for advice on this, which happens surprisingly more than you might expect, and I don't know why. I think it's because I put myself in conversations like this, in positions to have these conversations. All right. Well, this turned into a Clowns After Dark that I did not anticipate becoming a Clowns After Dark. So we're going to go ahead and end for tonight. I know it's a little bit sooner than I wanted. Wait, I want to show you something. Okay, make it quick. We'll watch one thing real fast. Hurry, quick, Brosum. Oh my God, Brosum. All right, cool. Oh, am I able to actually... Oh, Brosum, I don't know if I can actually see it because I'm not on Insta. Oh, no, it's working. Okay. So... That's sick. It has a real Gorillaz vibe going on here that I'm picking up on this. A real Gorillaz vibe. I feel that. I like it. But yeah, have a nice night, guys. I love each and every single one of you. Remember to hit that follow button, give you some more dating economics conversations. And yeah.